What's going on, guys? This is part 2 of my Siege adventure. If you haven't seen part 1, that would be my last video, and that was some pre-Siege game hunting. But this video is going to be all about the convention itself, all the cool stuff I saw, all the cool stuff I did. So without further ado, let's just jump right into Siege 2023. First of all, definitely got to talk about the pregame to the event, the main event, and that is this really cool, like, video game bar thing. So all of the content creators and guests and everybody pretty much got out to dinner, and not really dinner, it was more like a bar hangout kind of scenario at this really cool spot. There's a huge barcade, and man, it was really cool. And well, it was cool in the sense of how fun it was. It was hot in the sense of, damn, it was hot at this place. But hey, you know, that is South Carolina in the summer for you. Warm spot. You know, I personally grew up in the South, so I get it. But man, this place was quite a sight to behold. Got to see a lot of friends. Got to meet up with a lot of people who I hadn't seen in a long time, which was really cool to see everyone before the big event itself. But you know, hey, let's just jump right into the actual cool convention. So rolling up to the convention, there is a lot to see, but you know, my favorite thing every time I get down here every year is just rolling up and seeing the big banner welcoming you to the coolest convention, I swear, that I get to go to any year individually. This is like just the best one. But you know, check them out, man. Everyone's setting up, everyone's getting ready, everyone's getting busy, which is really good because you're going to see here in a second, the crowd this year, I mean, it has to be the biggest it's ever been. I've never seen this many people. It was awesome. But I do love showing kind of the time lapse of like everybody setting up. Like, hey, here's everything beforehand. This is kind of the behind the scenes of what it looks like getting a big convention like this together. I know the guys who put this on work very, very hard, and it's cool to show kind of the time lapse of what's going on. But you got to know, the reason this time lapse is so important is the sheer amount of hustle and bustle that you're gonna see here in a second. And to that end, let's see what kind of crowd we drew in this year. Yeah, so you can see with the massive crowd and the awesome amount of vendors that there's going to be some stuff to see, right? I mean, games, you know, obviously homemade goods. Let's kind of go through some of that now. I mean, there are a massive amount of games here. And this year specifically, I saw maybe the best blend ever. And that being, if you've watched some of my past convention videos, I've been disheartened with certain aspects, right? So nowadays, Sometimes prices are very egregious. Sometimes all of the prices are very egregious. Sometimes all they have is friggin' graded games, and it's just a nightmare. And I get it, like, some people are into graded games, like, not as a joke, not ironically. So, you know, I just hate it when that's all there is. Well, this year, man, a hugely great blend of stuff. You had people bringing in like really cool one-off weird items, apparel, you know, new old stock pins, shirts. You never know what you're gonna find. But also games, right? They had a large amount of games, and there are deals to be found here. I mean, usually it's like, you know, everything is basically price charting price, and it's like, okay, well, the convenience is the fact that you're kind of getting the game in a place where, you know, like it's easier to find, or, you know, like say there's that one strange game you're looking for and, you know, you just can't find it. Yeah, you could buy it off eBay or whatever, but maybe eBay people are going too high, or who knows. You know, you have a pretty good chance of finding it here. In fact, one of the pickups I got for myself was a game that's really, really odd, really weird game that, you know, you don't see very often, and I found it here. In fact, I found 3 copies here, so that's the way it goes. But there's all sorts of other vendors that I really like. There's one booth that always has import stuff. They're like really good import stuff. I love visiting that booth. I've bought something from them literally every single year. There's all sorts of booths that have, you know, some have graded games for those collectors, but like here it's not crazy. It's not like a booth of only graded games. It's, you know, pretty much a big store that may have a couple, may bring a couple. Sealed games, you know, they may have a couple, they may bring a couple, but that's not the major drive here. I will say that for every good price, every 2-3 good prices you find one that's really, really expensive. But the part of the problem is just the current market. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not like, you know, you can walk into a flea market and find a sealed, you know, Chrono Trigger for $5. You know, you're not going to find that here. Obviously, like, people know what they have, and sealed games and complete games and even just regular old rare games are just through the roof nowadays. You know, it's just the way it is. It's the way this hobby is, which is a bummer. I mean, you know, a really good friend of mine, and you'll see it in the pickup section, did get, you know, Tomba 1 and 2 games he was really, really looking forward to getting. But, you know, got to pay the piper. those are rare games now, and you know, if you were to tell me just how much these kind of things go for nowadays, I would be beside myself back in the day. But that's where we're at. But hey, in general though, very, very cool stuff. The prices, you can find great deals here. I did, and I know many other people did too. But one thing I am always going to highlight for any convention video I ever make, so help me God, is the homemade and crafted stuff. I mean, there are so many people who just pour their heart and soul into these really cool crafts. It's just fantastic. Every year I look forward to seeing this stuff. Stuff as simple and as you know, neat as like perler art, to as complex as, you know, full like terrariums for Pokemon or something. I mean, there's so many items that I'm actually going to do a little montage of them here. Well, obviously you're watching the montage of them here, but I'm going to keep it going. One I specifically want to shout out is a vendor who I actually filmed last year. She was back again. Hers, I actually have her Instagram, or however you contact her, business card at the end. But she does these really cool needlepoint things. So I'm going to make sure to highlight that, because she's someone you can actually purchase from year-round. In fact, a lot of these people, you can purchase from them year-round as well. But yeah, I mean, this homemade stuff is so cool. I mean, this is stuff you can't buy, you know, easily, you know, just out and about, right? It's like you see stuff like this at a convention, you're like, oh wow, like someone's making this, you know, stuff that you wouldn't even think about. I mean, you know, I've actually bought several like pieces of apparel that were homemade that, you know, I had no idea that something like this would exist without the fact that, you know, I saw it here. It's like these cool ideas. It's like something that you wouldn't even search online because you didn't know you needed to search it. But that said, I hope you enjoy a little bit more of these cool items, because this is the kind of stuff that really draws me to conventions. And of course, no convention worth its salt is even worth talking about without a free arcade. And I tell you what, the free arcade they've had here in the past hasn't ever really been like very, very big, but nothing to sneeze at either. You know, maybe like 20 games ish, or 15 games. And it's really great because you're not going to try to spend all your time at the free arcade. But this year, I swear, it's like 2 or 3 times bigger than it was in the past, and they have some really, really cool stuff here. I mean, you just can't even imagine some of the, well, I mean, I guess you can imagine because you're watching it, but you can't, like, when I was walking through, I was like, oh my god, they got that here? Like, whoa, they got this here? And man, I was beside myself. There's some really cool games. And I tell you what, after you've been walking around for hours, it's always kind of nice to kind of prop up and play something, just kind of relax a little bit. I know I did. But hey, everyone has their own view on the free arcade. This just happens to be one of my favorite part of going to conventions. One thing I've never really highlighted before, only because I personally felt awkward asking people to film them, is cosplay. Cosplay at conventions is always so cool. And I'll tell you what, I decided to kind of face my fear a little bit and put myself out there and ask some of these really awesome cosplayers to let me film them. And it's exactly like you'd think. Everyone is super duper nice. Of course, make sure to ask before you just start taking pictures. But everyone was super cool, and man, I'll tell you what, some of these outfits and some of the work put in is just utterly, utterly amazing.
And this guy!
But hey, I mean, now the important part, right? You gotta take stock of everything you got, take stock of everything you found. So let's get to the pickups. So this is all of the purchases we got cumulatively as a group, me and my 2 friends who went. So just kind of looking at some highlights, we have Tomba 1 and 2, F-Zero on the Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Ruby, Reloaded, which is the sequel to Loaded, a couple of Mario Kart, kind of Hot Wheels cars, a Metal Gear Solid Vita game, because a Vita was purchased, this weird Sonic Mr. Potato Head, I don't know what's up with that, Cyberpunk pin, WCW vs. NWO World Tour complete in box, Air Force Delta, Supreme Warrior. This is actually a purchase of mine specifically. I have a 3DO, and this game looks really, really bad, and I got like I don't even know what it's worth, but I got it for pretty cheap, so big bumping, because, why not? Got Road Rash on the Sega. We have a couple more Game Boy Advance games, Metroid Fusion and Super Mario Advance, The Suffering 1 and 2, another one of mine, Mr. Mosquito. We got Turtles, got a couple of these color-changing cars. This is actually for one of my friend's sons. He bought them for his son because his son loves these little color-changing cars. Not video game related, but still kind of interesting. A Hollow Knight Journal Compendium book. Over here, Super Godzilla. We have the Sega CD version of Terminator, which if you have not played it, is a slammin' game. Lollipop Chainsaw. Some really cool figures. We got Labyrinth, Mario and Sonic. They're like minifigures. And these are coasters that are made by the Retro Beard. I'll have a link to his stuff down below, but these are our coasters that he made on his like laser cutter thing. Oh, by the way, if you see price tags here and there, we did not pay these prices for everything. Obviously, we did a bunch of deals and bundles. So, like when you see something like, Mr. Mosquito for $75, we actually bundled that with these 2 games and got like a better deal. But, we just left the regular stickers on there. But this isn't all we got. We also got some other neat stuff that is like kind of handmade stuff, like those coasters, that I'm going to show you now. So the gang went kind of crazy on some perler art, but these are all magnetic. We got Mega Man in the ride armor, Mega Man X that is, an E-Tank, a big old Sigma with a sword. We got Zero dashing, X dashing, this really huge Sonic. I mean, this thing's massive. Gigantic Samus. We have, Sora from the Game Boy Advance version of the game. We have a regular Sonic, a really cool Mario Kart, and a Snake from Metal Gear. Another cool thing from the Retro Beard that was picked up was a light up question mark block. That's his logo down there, by the way. And also, another thing I got from him is this awesome Earthbound hat. This thing is super dope. I am a huge fan. But yeah, that's all the kind of crazy stuff. One more thing I did want to show off, though, is this is the 7th Siege. So they made this logo for their logo and for their shirt. So Southeast Game Exchange, and I'll probably be wearing this in the beginning of the video, so you've seen it by now. But this is a really, really cool shirt. Just thought I would point that out as well. But anyway, that's everything we picked up, and hope you enjoyed all the craziness that was the Siege Convention 2023. Oh, dummy me, I totally forgot the one crazy thing I bought this time. Last year I bought the yellow Dreamcast controller. This year I bought the crazy, like, leopard Dreamcast controller. I don't know, I'd never seen one of these, but I bought it from the same person and I was very excited to get it. Anyway, that is everything for sure this time. So is it? What'd you think? I mean, I had a great time. My friends and I had some really cool pickups, as you saw. Just the cosplayers were amazing. Everything was cool. It was just above and beyond. But once again, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Did you go to Siege? If not, are you going to go next year? Because they actually just dropped a promo, and it's going to be 3 times bigger. I cannot wait. Hopefully, I get invited as a guest again, but even if not, I'm going to be there regardless. So hopefully, I will get to see you there. And hey, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. That would be very most awesome. And as always, my friends, take it easy.